In this capital city of marble monuments, visionaries cast a shadow long and wide. Here, enduring memorials like the wall remind us that out of loss there can be healing for those who return from war forever changed.
Hi, I'm Mike Walsh, and I served in Vietnam from April 1967 to April 1968.
For the first time in decades, Mike Walsh of Germantown, Maryland, recently dusted off his old projector. He's looking at pictures he took while serving in Vietnam. This 19-year-old Army specialist operated a boat that ferried supplies up and down the Mekong River, an often harrowing assignment.
We received our fair share of fire from the shore.
It's what happened to Walsh on the very day he went home that still haunts him.
There's a slide in there of a place where we used to go when we were off duty. And the day I left, it was hit pretty hard. And I don't know what the total number of guys killed was, but 4 guys that I had had lunch with that day were dead. That question has run through my mind 1,000 times since. Why did I get to go home early? And these guys didn't.
Walsh returned stateside to a nation in turmoil. To distance himself from what would turn out to be significant PTSD that he still struggles with, Walsh made a decision he regrets. He threw away everything: his military uniforms, medals, dog tags, boots, and even the letters he sent home to his mother.
I just wanted nothing to do with it. I wanted to put Vietnam behind me, forget about it, never think about it again, and move on. Of course, at that time, I didn't know I had PTSD, and I didn't know I had diabetes, and I didn't know I had kidney disease. I just wanted to move on with my life and forget that that ever happened.
His significant health struggles now, the result of his unknowing exposure to Agent Orange during the war. Mike Walsh would discover that he could not undo the residue of war, but he did find a way to cope. For years, he refused to go to the wall, but when he did, he touched the names of his 4 friends killed so long ago, which convinced him to begin a journey of healing.
I'm telling the rest of the story, if you will.
When Walsh retired from teaching in 2009, he embarked on a photographic pilgrimage to Vietnam War memorials.
Yeah, it's why I get up in the morning. This is what I do.
His first picture, Mississippi. From there, he's been to Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, and beyond. His favorite, Missoula, Montana. He believes the angel lifting up this dead soldier is also a fallen comrade.
I've always insisted that he's one of us. He's a vet. He's one vet bringing another one. I have been to all 50 states. I've been to most states at least twice, some states 3 or 4 times. And I've taken 62,000 photographs.
His blog, A Means to Heal, features nearly 600 memorials photographed in the last 8 years.
I know that it's helped me, and I hear from vets all the time who say that it's helped them.
One veteran wrote to Walsh, "I've been in therapy for PTSD for longer than I care to remember, but after seeing your site, I know I'm going to get well."
I try to prep myself. It's always emotional.
Mike Walsh recently had one final emotional hurdle that took him morning, noon, and night to clear. For all these years, he's avoided the memorials closest to his heart.
We're headed over to the University of Maryland, my alma mater.
The memorial nestled behind UMD's chapel.
It's over here. I see it.
Reminds him of a painful and complicated time. He attended this university right after the war and was not always made to feel welcome.
I understood, I think, some of what the students were feeling. Nobody knew why we were in Vietnam. This site is dedicated to the people whose lives were touched by the fire of the Vietnam War. I've never quite heard that phraseology before, and I really like it.
Oddly enough, the memorial with the deepest impact on Mike Walsh's life hangs inside his elementary school in Silver Spring.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
It's down a hallway he has not walked in more than 50 years.
We went to kindergarten right down the hall here.
This is where he met his first friends, guys like John Liverman, Kevin Coyne, and Frank Streaks.
Oh my goodness.
Those were the classrooms with the chairs?
Yeah.
Desks?
Yeah.
But the sweetness of this day sits beside sorrow,
Show me where this plaque is.
due to the name etched on a small but significant memorial installed here in 1968.
Oh, right here. I see it. Okay. Oh boy, this is dark, isn't it? So this memorial is to Frank Streaks. We called him Trippy. And he was a classmate of mine. He was a Marine. He was killed in Vietnam. The first one of my classmates to die there. Get a close-up of his face here.
Several months after Frank Streaks was killed, Kevin Coyne lost his life. John Liverman died in Vietnam as well.
These were guys I grew up with. These were my neighborhood friends. And to come back all these years later, and this is much more emotional than I expected it to be. This is your childhood being destroyed as far as I'm concerned. I spent yesterday at the VA working on issues that 50 years later are still a problem. Oh, that's good.
So Mike Walsh copes the only way he knows how, by pushing on.
It teaches you how fragile life is.
Some suspect there may be 2,000 Vietnam veteran memorials in America. No one knows for sure. Mike Walsh intends to find out. So we never forget the sacrifice of young men like John, Kevin, and Frank.
And I'm not done. If I can continue to find them, I'll keep going to get them as long as I'm able.
Jay Korff for ABC 7 Stories.